Hello everyone, welcome to my webinar. Sorry about the technical difficulty, but today I'm more than happy to share with you. This is the 7 steps to success, okay? If you are thinking about buying investment property, real estate, or even if you haven't think about it, and if you want to just acquire to your first home, all right? This is a show for you, all right? Because I'm gonna show you the exact 7 steps on how I get my first rental property with only 5% down. Okay, so here is at the high level. This is a 7 baby steps. Step number 1, save up for $100,000. Step number 2, pay off your debt. Step 3, save for 5% down. 4, buy primary home. 5, share room. 6, refinance cash cut out. And 7 is to buy a second home. That's it. We're done with the webinar. That's just kidding. This is just so at the high level, and I know that you have probably a lot of questions regarding why 1,000, why pet debt, how much is 5% down? What are you talking about primary home? I thought that we are teaching about rental property. Okay, so there's a lot of question. I know that. So let's dive right into the 7 baby step in detail. Okay, step number 1, save up for $1,000. Okay, this is considered a very small investment that you have for yourself. Okay, the reason for why 1,000 is this, and I call this step is super crucial, especially for those who haven't who haven't had a property or who haven't been able to save up anything. You know the reason why? Because owning a house you're gonna have a lot of responsibility. Okay, and to be able to consume, to be responsible for the big assets, you have to be able to save up to manage your money. And this 1,000 is the first step to show that you have the ability to manage the money. All right, it's not too much that is take forever for you to save up, but it's not too little that it's easy for you to do. Okay, so some of you may ask, what if I already have 10,000 in my bank account? What if I already have 5,000 in my bank account? Okay, well, congratulations, you passed step number 1. Let's go into step number 2. Okay, step number 2 is to pay off the bad debt. Okay, which one is considered a bad debt? Bad debt is in contradictory with good debt, right? It's something that you owe, and then you have to pay more. For example, if you buy clothes, if you buy groceries, okay, and you use credit card, 2,000, for example, and if you don't pay off the balance, eventually at the end of the terms, you have to pay more than 2,000, right? So you only pay grocery for 2,000, but then you end up paying 2,500 or 3,000 or 3,500, depending on the interest rate that you have, right? So that is bad debt. Good debt, in the other hand, may produce income to you. Okay, the debt that you take over and it's produce income, and therefore you actually having some profit from that. For example, if you buy a car, okay, and then you take a loan to get a car. However, though, instead of just driving it, right? Because as you know, as you drive the car, the car value goes down, right? So as you drive, instead of driving it only, you rent it out to tour, to other people, and then collecting the money from those car rental. Then you get extra cash and you pay off the car, right? So those are considered good debt. Real estate, okay, also consider a good debt, because eventually at the long term you're gonna have some equity built up in the house, which is a different topic for real estate. Okay, so today we're not talking about that yet. Okay, we're talking about the 7th step, and the second step is pay off the bad debt. Okay, how are you going to do that? This is in fact, I love Dave Ramsey in this matter. He showed a very effective way to pay off bad debt is to pay it. Right, but to pay from small to big. Okay, if you have several bad debts in your account, okay, in your name, under your name, you specify, you list them out, everything. All right, and you start from the smallest amount. Okay, smallest amount to the biggest amount. Like I said, some of you may ask, why is it has to start with smallest? What if the biggest amount has the biggest amount of interest? Or should I focus on that first? The answer is no. Just focus on the smallest one first, because here's the thing. Remember, step one is the movement. Okay, this is the engagement for you. Okay, if you start with small, you have you have the feeling of achievement very fast. Okay, and then therefore the $500 credit card gonna be pay off right away. Okay, $2,000 credit card gonna pay off next, right? You don't you make you feel proud of yourself, okay, by doing from smallest to biggest, and therefore more chance for you to pay off every debt, right? If you start with the biggest, it may take forever, and you think that the process doesn't work, right? But it does. Okay, now in real estate, the reason why paying off bad debt is good for you also is that it's increased the chance that you can qualify for a mortgage. Okay, we'll talk about debt to income ratio later in the different videos, but just for now, believe me, that will help you qualify for the debt easier, and your interest rate gonna be lower. Okay, after you pay off the bad debt, now come the fun part, because this is actually the first part that real estate's related, because you're actually gonna save up for 5% down. Okay, this is the minimum amount that I think you should start. I know that some other pro loan program can allow you to do 0% or 3%, but here's the fact. Okay, if you don't have the skin in the game, you wouldn't be so much encouragement to save, to protect the assets, right? So that's the reason why I still recommend you to do at least 5%. Okay, now you don't have to do 20%, even if you want to buy a rental property, right? Because this is the seventh step, that you buy the rental property for only 5% down. Okay, so you don't have to do 20%. Let's just start with 5%. Okay, 5% is enough. Some of you may ask, the common question is, how much is 5%? Why? I don't know, like $5, $10. Okay, so this is come back to, if you are new to the business, okay, obviously you have to lean on the expert. So if you the easiest way to do is to reach out to the real estate agent, okay, who you can talk to, and then just explain to them what you plan to do. Okay, I want to buy a house in this area as my rental property, and I hear this guy Long talking about how to buy this, how to buy my rental property for only 5% down. Can you tell me, okay, I want this house in this area, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, single stories. How much is that on average over here? The agent may say, okay, that's 300 in here, 300 in Buckeyes, 500, $450, $5,000 in Chandler, maybe 500 in Gilbert, right? So that's your number. Okay, let's say you come up with number $400,000 in the area that you're searching for, right? Just do the calculation. 5% of $400,000 is 20,000. That's your number. That's your goal. Okay, you save up for that number until you move to the next step, which is buying your primary home. Okay, buying your primary home first. Okay, regardless of how much temptation you want to buy your so what rental property, if you haven't bought a property before, or you bought a property for a long time ago, choose your primary home first. Okay, because you only have 5%. That's number one reason. You only have 5% right now. Okay, and number two, if you haven't been in real estate industry for a long time, or if you haven't bought any home before, right, buying a primary home gonna remove a lot of unknown. For example, and a lot of concern as well. How do I find a tenant? How do I evaluate the deal, right? Getting to know a primary home, getting a primary home will help you just one step at a time, right? Get you to know the process of purchasing a property, the process of looking at property, and how to determine whether it is a good property, good price. Of course, the real estate agent will help you along the process as well. But at least you don't have to worry about the investing side yet. And right, so that's easier for you to do that way. Okay, plus you don't have the means to do it anyway. If you have 20% down to do investment property, well, that's good for you. You don't have to worry about this webinar, right? But the main goal of this is just show you as minimal down payment as possible for 5%. Okay, so go buy your primary home. Take as much time as you need to evaluate your options, right? To see which one is best for you. Of course, during the process of finding the primary home, keep informed. Remind the agents that, hey, even though I'm gonna buy this as a primary home now, but in the future I may convert it to the rental property, so that the agent can recommend you whether this is a good rental property or not. Okay, whether you are looking at the right area or not. For example, one of the no features for long-term rental property is a pool. You don't want a pool in your long-term rental property. So if it is a good agent, he wouldn't recommend you any pool at all. Okay, unless you intend to live in that property for more than 3 or 5 years, then you can enjoy the pool. But in general, if you want to convert that to a rental property very quickly, you don't want a pool. Okay. Long story short, let's come back to our steps. Okay, we are at step number 4 right now. Step number 5 is after you have the primary home, we're not going to stop there, right? Because you want to be an investor. Right? An investor is someone, real estate investor specifically, right, is someone who want to save, to earn capital, to earn cash from a property, right? So right now you live in that property, so the only way that we can do is to share a room, right? If you also have a ability to find a property that has a casita, for example, right? Then you can also recommend that to you can rent that casita as well, and get more income. Okay. At the same time, in addition to getting extra income, you can also learning a lot from that process as well. You live in a house, you earn extra income, you learn how to write the lease to the tenant, you learn how to manage the tenant. Those are the things that no school will teach you. And I think that's the reason why it's so much valuable if you can do that as you own a house. You're not too far away from the tenants, right? And you learn everything that you need to do. Okay, make sure that the legal terms is all right. Make sure that you screen check the tenant. How do you do that? Looking at the credit report, how do you do that, right? So those are the things that you learn from step number 5. Okay, be patient with the process. It takes time, right? Some of you may ask, what if I'm not comfortable with sharing a room? What if I don't have the ability to rent a room, right? What if I'm worried about security and therefore I won't do it? Well, then don't. Then don't. There's no one can force you to do so. But if you don't willing to share a room, this may take longer for you to go to step 6. You know why? Because the step 6 is actually you're gonna do refinance and get cash. Why do you need to refinance and get the cash out? Okay, this is actually the time that you want to get the cash and buy the next property. You want the 5% back, okay, and then go buy the next property. Okay, that's how the investor thinks, right? You never stop at one. You have to go to buy the second one. So the beauty of real estate is that its values go up over time, right? But in general, if you refinance with less than a year, you're not going to be able to get any extra cash. That's what you don't want to do, right? So generally, you want to wait for at least a year to be able to do the refinance and get the down payment back, right? The extra income from step 5 also help with the down payment in step 6. It add on top of the cash you get from step 6, right? So for any reason, if the refinance gets cash doesn't return 100%, at least you have the extra income from step 5 to add on top of it, and then use that lump sum as a down payment for step 7. Okay, because in step 7 you're gonna buy the second house and rent out the first house, because you know what, the second house is the one that you're going to live in it. Okay, and then therefore you convert the first house to be 100% rental. And remember how much you put down for rent property number 1. 5%, 20,000 in our example, right? So that is how you get the first rental property for only 5% down. Okay, so that is actually talk is easier than real life, right? So all I ask is you have to be patient with the process. Okay, real estate, I agree that a lot of video teach you like you can earn quick, or you can easily become wealthy, right? But it's actually not, because you have to take time. It's obviously step 5 and 6. It takes a year, right? You have to be patient with the process. But if you truly follow the process, you will get 2 properties at the end of year number 1 with only 5% down. Okay, so those are the benefits, and I'm willing to take any question. If you are not live at this time and you review it at another time, feel free to put in a comment or send me a direct message, right? And I will be more than happy to share with you information. Okay, my name is Longley, and thank you everyone